You're listening to UTS, the official podcast of Cheltenham Saracens RFC.
We're walking along, we're singing a song, we're walking in the Sarries Wonderland.
Hey guys, come on in, sit yourselves down in Sherry Corner. You are not listening to the UTS podcast, but you are watching The Breakdown with the UTS podcast. And as always with the UTS podcast, I am your host. My name is Dan Lodge, joined by...
Hi, Moxie.
Mark Moxie Collier, as always. Not on the other side of the glass today.
No,
I've let you out of the sauna prison. And we are at the Club of Dreams up at King George V. A little while ago, we had a little idea of why don't we do something other than a podcast? And with the Six Nations coming up, we thought it'd be a great idea to test some of our prediction skills. When it comes to the Six Nations, of course, a massive Ireland fan and Red Cabbage England fan. And we've decided we're going to come up with a little YouTube game, which maybe you at home can get involved with as well. Now, the premise of this is each round, we're going to sit ourselves down in front of this and we're going to say, these are our predictions. We're going to give you our thoughts and probably more guesses than actual educated predictions. But we're going to have ourselves a little game. 5 points if you can score the exact result. Obviously, go in the way you predict. And 3 points if you can correctly guess the winner and the winning margin. So if you don't get the exact score right, but you know if you say on the opening day England are going to win 15 points to 10, 5 points as a margin, and if they win 25-20, you'll get yourself 3 points because you predicted England are going to win by 5 points. But if you don't get either of those, which I imagine is going to happen quite a lot, you only get the 1 point if you can predict the winner. So we'll get straight into it. 2017 was, I think it's safe to say, a pretty good year for some of the home nations. England had an incredible year. I mean, you've got all the info on that.
I've got the info here on
as you can imagine, I'm not a great England form predictor. So
obviously during the Six Nations, the victorious Six Nations team, we beat France 19-16. That was a nice hard-fought game to start with. To Wales, again a close game, we beat them 21-16. Italy, again a bigger margin, 36-16. And then Scotland, that was just an amazing game for an England fan. If you look at Scotland's form in 2017 and you look at this result, it's mad. England beating them 61 points to 21, and then right at the end, unfortunately, we succumbed to Ireland 13-9, but that didn't stop us from winning the Six Nations, as I said.
I'll take that win, though. I don't mind that at all.
No, I thought you might say that.
As much as I hate to admit it, and everyone who knows me watching this will know I'm a big Ireland fan to the death, I think England are going to be the team to beat.
You think this?
Yeah, I think they're going to win it again. As much as it destroys me to admit it, I think they're going to be the team to beat.
I think it's going to be between three teams. Obviously, England, I think your lot, and potentially Scotland, who have had a brilliant year.
Looking at Ireland, obviously we mentioned just now 27-22 losing to Scotland, but did manage to turn that around with a 63-10 win at Italy as well, with a 19-9 win over France. But a bit of a hot and cold form, losing out to Scotland and then losing out to Wales 22-9, and then managing to turn England over 13-9. It's hard to tell which Ireland is going to turn up, and I know that kind of sounds a little bit cliche for those at home, but it really does kind of feel like if the right team turns up, they can beat anyone.
Yeah, definitely. They've got the players again that do that. They show that in their club teams, that they've got some great players.
I think they'll have just a little bit too much for Scotland. in the run of the whole tournament. I think in the head-to-head that's going to be very, very tough. But I do think I'd say England are probably going to be top. Ireland will be a somewhat comfortable second place. Wales, be honest, could go either way, couldn't it? Realistically.
Well, I mean, England have got a lot of injuries. Wales, depleted. They've got so many injuries, so many players out. It's difficult to know what's going to happen there. Have they got strength in depth?
But of course, we spoke to Paul Griff, of course, who joined us last October, and he was the first one to say they've got nothing in depth.
Yeah.
And now with this new rule as well, where they say if you want to play for Wales, you've got to represent a Welsh club or a territorial side.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it, didn't we, on the podcast, and it's a good thing in one respect, but it can really go against them, I think.
Looking at their fixture list, there's a couple of results which you would have said maybe a few years ago would have completely gone the other way. But this is the result that really struck me as really a kind of standout shock result. 29-13, losing to Scotland.
New Zealand, they put 18 points on New Zealand. Okay, they conceded 33, but that's still good going, putting those points on New Zealand. I mean, I've got them down fighting Italy for the wooden spoon.
Really, I was going to say, where would you put them?
Fifth.
Moving on to Scotland, dark horses last year, obviously. Some real shock wins, 27-22 over Ireland, which we just won't seem to stop mentioning, even though it kills me. 29-13 over Wales, again we mentioned that was a real shock result. And 29-0 over Italy, and I guess that's kind of fair enough because Italy didn't have the strongest year. 24-19 over Australia. That, for Scotland, for me, is a big shock. Obviously, you know,
that wasn't the best score against Australia, was it?
It wasn't actually. 53-24 was the best result for them. Lost out to New Zealand 17-22.
And they were desperately unlucky.
That to me,
New Zealand were there for the taking.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I remember that one, and it was the last few minutes, and Scotland were really on it, and I thought, is this going to be it?
Yeah.
You know, not too long after Ireland beat them in Chicago, actually, it must be said. So, like, New Zealand were
just got that one in.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely getting that one in. But at the same time, that showed they can be beaten, and of course, Scotland bringing it back within 5 points.
Yeah.
You know, that says a lot about what they've got in that squad.
Well, I think, again, flip of a coin with Ireland for second and third. But I think I'd have to put Ireland in second and Scotland in third.
Anyway, moving on to France. Very hot and cold. Obviously losing out to England on the opening day. Picking up a win against Scotland 22-16 on the second. Losing out to Ireland on the third. And then picking up 2 wins, 40-18 and 20-18 against Italy and Wales respectively in the final 2 rounds. What has happened with France? Because they were an unbelievable power in the Six Nations.
And they changed their coach, haven't they? And they've almost changed a bit of their philosophy in how they play.
Because there was a big thing when they ended up facing New Zealand in the last Rugby World Cup.
Yeah.
And they absolutely just surrendered almost right off the bat, and it was just New Zealand steamrolling them. And since then, it's like they haven't picked themselves up from that.
They haven't recovered.
Not at all.
No.
So if you were to place France,
well, we've got obviously the first 3, haven't we? The bottom 2, I said, between Wales and Italy. So France in 4th.
No, I wouldn't argue that, to be fair. I think that'll be a close one as well. So I'm assuming you're going to place Italy dead last.
Yeah, I mean, again, I said earlier, between Wales and Italy for that wooden spoon. Looking at the form, I don't think they can improve quick enough to go any higher. So yeah, I'm putting them bang down in the bottom.
Well, we'll take a look at the table with our predictions early on before the event kicks off. England at the top of the table of our predictions. Ireland and Scotland second and third, but that could be close. France sitting fourth, with Wales in fifth. Italy bottom of the table once again. We'll have a little bit of looking at round one. Obviously we mentioned February 3rd, this Saturday, tomorrow in fact actually. Wales versus Scotland, 2:15. Which way do you think it's going to go?
I think that Scotland are going to win this 28 points to 18, a 10-point margin. I don't necessarily think Wales are going to score, 3 tries, but I think they're going to score a few points.
I'm going to go 26-10.
26-10
to Scotland.
16-point margin.
Yes. I think Scotland will start very well. Obviously, being on the road, they're going to want to set the pace early, want to shut that Cardiff crowd down, and I think they'll do it. 26-10. France versus Ireland.
I think this will be close.
This one will. I'm going to go. I reckon it's going to be a bonus point for France, but I think Ireland will win it.
Again, plenty of points. I've got 24-32. So Ireland coming away.
24-32 to Ireland.
Coming away with an 8-point advantage.
See, I think it'll be closer than that. 22-15 to Ireland.
Okay.
I think Ireland will just get it, but within the 7 points, I think France will get that bonus point.
Right.
This could go either way. Italy hosting England.
Go on, you go first.
February 4th. Well, the last one was an absolute runaway for England, so it's hard to tell. I think you're looking at the very least 35 for England. I'm going to say 37-12 to England.
I actually put, and I didn't look at any of these scores from beforehand, I've actually gone with 36-17 to England.
Ooh. Well, there you go. Those are the predictions. If you want to get involved as well at home, make sure you do. Just drop us a comment or drop us a tweet or a Facebook comment. Tell us what you think. Maybe if you can name an actual score, an exact result, you can join us on this empty stool here and share your predictions on the following show. Obviously, if you want to get in touch with us, make sure you do utspodcast@gmail.com or head over to the website utspodcast.com. Listen to all the shows, they're all free. We're not going to charge you, and you can find out a lot of different platforms as well, because I know some of you don't like to use SoundCloud, and that's fine. Go out, check them out, they're all free. Yeah, go out and check today's episode as well, which out this morning with Ed Moran. Hilarious episode, hilarious fella, and we thank him for coming on.
Yeah, cheers, Big Ted.
Yeah, Big Ted. Big Ted would like a pint. Yeah. So there you go. Round one wrapped up. I think this could be a close year at the top.
Yeah, and the one name at the top I think is going to be Moxie.
I think we might have to have a word when the cameras go off. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us, and don't forget to comment, give us a like, a rate and review on iTunes if you use it, give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and don't forget to put it out there and share it and let people know why you love the UTS podcast and why they should as well. So we will see you again next Friday right here in Sherry Corner. Make sure you get in touch. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.